Hi, I'm John McKendricks, pastor of Full Life Christian Center. Today I was asked to talk to you about one of the statements that's on our church. Every church has a mission statement, and our church is no different. And one of the slogans that we have at our church is faith rooted in the real world. A lot of people want to know where I came up with that idea. Well, I teach the Bible regularly. I'm pastor of a church, dean of students at a local Bible college, and I teach theology as well. And after decades of being a Christian, I could tell you that not everybody gets this point. There were many times I'd go to church just visiting, and I'd hear a message go on, and it was hard for me to find context for how that particular passage of scripture or pastor's point was to be lived out in the real world. And I came to realize that there's a lot about Christianity that needs to be explained. As an example, there are certain teachings of Jesus that we could oftentimes just study in isolation and then get the wrong idea about what Jesus wants us to do. And so for many people, they'll find Christianity to be complicated and a set of rigorous rules. And in reality, when you really examine Jesus' teaching, there was only two things that he asked us to do, and that is to love God and to love one another. Now, there are many things that may flow from those two things, but really, I think we make Christianity way too complicated. I have strived for decades to try to find a way to help people understand the Bible and to live out faith in a real world situation. So instead of creating a Christianity that keeps people away from other people, we want to try to have a faith that can be lived out at the grocery store, at the post office, in the workplace, hanging out at Taco Bell. I mean, Christianity ought to be something that a person can do, and it's not defined by a set of rituals or rules, but Christianity is really the expression of personal faith, faith in Jesus, and commitment to his teachings. And so as we become discipled, we actually are better prepared to engage not simply the people that we know in our families and friends and in our church, but the people that we come into contact with in the broader world. That is exactly what Jesus intended, and that's what the gospel hopes to fulfill by way of mission. Now, it goes on in the New Testament to say that we have to figure out how it is that we can be in the world and not of the world. But unfortunately, much of Christianity is trying to spend most of its time figuring out how it can be out of the world and thereby being closer to God. That's not the way it's supposed to work. Friends, we need to begin to develop an understanding about the Bible, understanding about Jesus' teachings, and learn to live life in our own skin. It's really the only way that we're going to effectively win the world. It's not going to be through pomp and circumstances and parades and through just things that are not real, that don't have substance. You know who needs to have the gospel? The person that is sharing your workspace with you. The guy you may not even have talked to for a year and a half because you've been mad at something that they've done. So in reality, the very people that we are sent to reach, we alienate because we have not ourselves learned how to live life in our own skin, to live in complement with what Jesus wants us to do, and to learn to express our faith in terms to where we can learn to become real people. I mean, let's get off of our errors. All of us know what it's like to be mad. All of us know what it's like to be frustrated. All of us know what it's like to just experience life in its fullest. There isn't anyone here that's watching me that probably hasn't been frustrated at the drive-thru at the local Taco Bell, you know. But we have to learn how to take our faith and not just make that something that we do on Sundays when we got our holy suit on, but it's something that we need to learn how to live out every day. I believe that Christianity begins inside of the individual. It's expressed then in relationship with their family and the people that they are, centered around their home. And then again, it's fully expressed when we can learn to be out in the world. Maybe, just maybe, Christianity can stop being something that is completely internalized, something that causes us to just look inward all the time. And maybe the shift can take place to where Christianity can be something that can actually be effective and learn to change the world in which we live in. Thank you for your time today, by the way. See you later.